What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Now, in today's video, we're going to be doing a D.O.T Dragonknight build. It's the first time I've done a build like this, and I'm quite happy with the results I got from it. It's got to be one of the funnest builds I've done yet. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the skills. We're going to work from our front bar to our back bar. Now, on our front bar, we're rocking Engulfing Flames. Now, we're not using Engulfing Flames as a damage attack, because it drains your magicka like crazy and then it deals basically no damage. What we are using it for is the 10% damage increase that we get off all our flame attacks. Next on this list, we've got Burning Talons. Now, Burning Talons, we're not only using it as an extra D.O.T, but it deals a nice bit of damage. 3k every second, over 4 seconds. So what we're doing is we're comboing it with Engulfing Flames, and we're dealing a same amount of damage. Next, we've got Coagulating Blood. Now we're using this as a heal, and also for the health recovery increase by 20%. But we're not really using it because we're using Burning Embers. Now, I love Burning Embers so much because it deals a decent amount of damage, deals 3,000 damage and an additional 10,000 damage over 10.5 seconds, and then it heals us for 75% of the damage done. So it's an OP skill, my hands down favorite must-have skill, and then it leaves a D.O.T effect after effect when you activate it. Next, we're using Draw Essence. Now, Draw Essence isn't a D.O.T skill, but it does heal you for 100% of the damage you do, as well as dealing flame damage. So that does work with Engulfing Flame. Engulfing Flame. So it still does the fire damage that you want. However, it is not a D.O.T, but it's still a great AoE skill. It'll help you burn your enemies down quicker. Also, it does restore your magicka for 10% of each enemy hit. Next, as an ultimate, obviously we're running Standard of Might. Now, Standard of Might, I love this skill because not only does it deal massive amount of damage, but it also reduces the damage done to you by about 30% while you're in the area of effect. Now, some people like to use Shifting Standard of Might just to move it around. You can move it up to 2 times. You can do whatever you guys feel that you guys want to use. However, I use Standard of Might because of the increased damage. Next, we're going to go on our back bar. Now, obviously, we're using Harness Magicka because it blocks both physical and spell attacks, and it also restores our magicka should we come across one of those Dark Flare spamming Templars. We can hit this all day back to back and we'll never run out of magicka. So it's an insanely great skill. I love this skill so much. It's a must-have on a magic build. Next, we're using Inferno. Now, we're using Inferno mainly as additional flame damage because we could also combo that with Engulfing Flame. And then it does give us spell crit rating while we have it slotted too. So it's kind of a win-win. We're dealing extra damage, and then our crit rating's going up by quite a bit too. So it's not really a must-have, but it helps for dealing more damage. Next, we're running Volatile Armor. Now we're using Volatile Armor for the additional D.O.T effect that it gives, and the physical and spell resistance that we get from it. Again, with this, you would combo that with Burning Talons and Engulfing Flames, drop all your other AoE, switch to your back bar, proc that, and that'd be another additional D.O.T. Next, we're using Unstable Wall of Fire. Now, you can use the other morph, where it increases the size and duration of the effect. However, I like this one just to deal that little explosion of damage, which I think is a lot better than the other morph. But this is also going to be one of your main D.O.Ts. This is going to be the D.O.T that you slam down right away before entering battle, and then you would lock them in place with Burning Talons, etc., etc. I'll explain the whole combination later. Next, we've got Igneous Weapons. Obviously, we're using that for the increased major sorcery and the weapon damage by 20%. Because I do like to run in a group sometimes, so that's just a little something for my team. Now, we're using Magma Shell as an ultimate on our back bar. The reason we're using this is because, again, I like to roll with a group when I play on this character. And this is like my oh shit button. You know, I'll hit this if one of my teammates are about to die, which will give them a little shield that's I believe 3% of their health. Next, we got champ points. Now, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, the reason we put 97 points into the recovery settings is because it has to end on a 0.5 effect for it to actually work. So it may say your emergency recovery is 25%, but it's only activating as a 24.5, so you're wasting 3 champion points, where you could be putting that somewhere else more useful. Then we're putting the rest of our champ points into Magician. The reason I have 39 is because I do not have max champ points. I think I'm like 407. So if you do have max champ points at 501, you would just put the rest of those into the Magician. So it's pretty simple setup. Next, we are splitting our warrior setup, your warrior champion points, I guess you would call them, 50-50 between Hardy and Elemental Defender. Nothing really extra you need to put there. However, you can put your champion points anywhere else you want. Next, I've got into Thermatorch. We got 40 just for that increased DOT damage, and then just throw the rest into Elemental Defender. You should have more points left over, so whatever you have left over, throw that into Spell Erosion. And that's about it for this champ point setup. It's pretty basic, nothing really advanced into it. Next, we're going to do armor. Now, for armor, we're running a 5-piece Clever Alchemist, 2-piece Scoria, 2-piece Vicious Death. So obviously, do wield swords. We're running both sharpened, of course. Next, we've got the Clever Alchemist Inferno Staff. Obviously, we want the Inferno Staff for the D.O.T effect. Now, this is one of my old ones, so that you would just put Precise on your Inferno Staff. Now, we're running 2-piece Scoria. I do have to get my helmet done, because when I did Scoria, I did do it on Champ 140 with one of my friends. Next, we're running Chest of Vicious Death. We're using a 2-piece Vicious Death just for the increased spell damage that we get, as well as our Shoulder of Scoria. This one is perfectly fine. I don't have to get that one done. Next, Clever Alchemist Sash, Clever Alchemist Gloves, Breeches of Vicious Death, and Clever Alchemist Shoes, and then obviously our 3-piece Willpower. No surprise there on that one. Now we're, as you can see, I do have all my points into Magicka. Real quick, I'm going to see how high I can proc my spell damage. So let's just proc Igneous Weapons, and then proc our Clever Alchemist. So as you can see, it is about 3k, but I'm also not running my Mundustone on this guy yet. So I do have to get that. So what Mundustone you would get is the Apprentice Mundustone, and then run all Divines on your armor. And then that would probably bring our magic up to about 3100, which is not bad. Still, it's a great build. I absolutely love it. I had so much fun with it. Now, before we go, I want to thank you guys so much for helping me hit 50 subs. Anyways, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great day.